I have until October 1st of 2025 to get a legendary V10 at my home gym, BPUMP Tokyo. That day is the day my visa expires and I get kicked out of Japan. But maybe if I send a V10, they'll let me stay a little bit longer. My plan has 3 phases, and the first one is to hit my previous high point, 1D, the second hardest grade in the gym. Orange tape marks the difference between an intermediate climber and an advanced one. At this level, not only do you have to have incredible movement skills, but you also start to see that strength is a determining factor. Last month, I improved a ton and probably got like 15 light blue tapes. I even got 3 within a day, so I was pretty happy to see how much I've been improving lately. But orange tape is going to be a completely different monster. I always love setting a really hard challenge and having to rise to the occasion or die trying. So this time I set myself up for failure by saying I was gonna send 5 orange tapes in 1 month. So in this video, I'm gonna tell you everything I did right, everything I did wrong, and what you need to send the 3rd hardest grade at BPUMP Tokyo. This first climb is my anti-style. Crimps in really high, subtle feet. It might not look like it on camera, but all these holds are incredibly bad, and the worst part is the body position was always throwing you off. I tried this one more than 100 times this month. It is my complete anti-style, and I knew that if I could send this, it'd mean I was a solid 1Q climber. On the first try, I couldn't even get a single move. Every single move felt like it was gonna destroy my fingers or my feet would just pop off. Not only that, but it had a huge jump to a left-hand crimp that I thought was gonna destroy my pulleys. I became a little more used to it and I understood where my hips had to be in relation to the next hold. But let's put this one on pause for a while and go to the next one. These blue pinches were very my style. Originally, there is a really weird rose move that I didn't need to do so I could skip it. I immediately focused on the crux of this climb, trying to land a really weird paddle dyno. Initially, I just had my left hand on the side pull and my right hand on the crimp. I would pull and cross and then jump to the left. While I was doing that, my right hand had to turn around and try to catch the pinch. But even if I got kind of close to the movement, my body position always fell off. My hips were swinging around really wide, so there was no way to keep on the holds since they were pretty big slopers. After some while, I realized that the paddle was pretty hard and I wanted to try to break it. Initially, I was trying to stop with the right hand, and to get less momentum going on the swing, I would match on the left side pull and then try to get the right hand and from there pull on to the next hold. But it was pretty tricky with the body balance. So after watching a few people give it a try, instead of going with the right, I bumped up my hands and went with the left hand. And that made it possible. It wasn't easy for sure, but if you had enough body tension, you could stay on. I gave this one a ton of tries and my skin was completely destroyed. I'm not gonna lie, I would have rather just sent it the dyno paddle way. It was so much cooler, but my skin was destroyed and I wanted to get an orange tape no matter what. So if I'm gonna have to break the beta, I'm gonna do it. So my beta ended up changing a little bit. I got the match on the left and it was crucial to get your hands up as much as you could. Then I would bump the left hand, match, keep a ton of body tension, swap my feet as needed to keep the balance, and then from there, jump to the next move. Even though I had cut the jump in half, it was still a super violent swing. After that, I realized it was not over. Getting the heel hook so high up was really hard, and it felt so sketchy that you were gonna die at any moment. Luckily, I've had a ton of experience with falling on projects. So I just skipped that move, went all the way to the top, and tried to find out what body position I had to have in order to be able to do the move. This really helped me out. because after that, on the next attempt, even if it was from halfway, I could get the heel hook, hold the crimp, and then just go for the top. So I had the whole boulder ready, just in 2 parts. Now, it was just time to send. Now that day, I was so happy I got the blue, I thought maybe I could also get the white. So I went back to the 3rd floor and hit the crimps. But I don't know if I was already too tired from the blue or something, but I could not do anything. Usually, that kind of gets me down. So when I'm with a couple of friends and we start to talk a little bit, I try to let the pressure go and just remind myself, it's just plastic. Just give it one more try, no one cares. I always put myself in more pressure than I need to. And that mental state does not help anyone. So I just took a breather and gave it a few more tries. I saw some solid progress, but not enough to send. That week, I went to a few other gyms, but not anything that's worth mentioning in this video. Next week, when I came back, I set my sights on a new boulder. This red on the 3rd floor, that was pretty my style. I would say it was big moves, and there was a ton of different ways to do the beta. Since I'm taller than the average person, I could skip a few moves, but the last move was disgusting. There was 2 betas. First beta, you hit a heel hook and you go with the right hand. After a ton of practice, I made the move. But what was the problem? The right hand was a really small crimp, just this big, but then you couldn't get your left foot up. And since my fingers are pretty weak, I couldn't trust myself in taking my feet off and sweeping them to the left. So I had to make up my own beta. I decided to get a really high foot and just exploding up with the left hand. Now, this was always from the second move. I had never given the first move a try. Usually, if the first move is a dyno or a coordination move, I'll just skip it. I'll start from the rest and learn all those moves. Once I can do those, I'll practice the coordination. Because coordination for me seems more like a game of chance. Of course, if you're great, you can do it all the time, but I don't want to waste all my skin and just do 100 tries jumping on something and then be too tired to learn the rest. I would rather do 90% of the boulder and then if I get the 10%, make it to the top, than doing it the other way around. Now, I want to thank the sponsor of this video, you guys. I think this channel is completely crazy because I must have the highest rate of subscribers to meeting people in person than anyone in YouTube history. Almost every single day, someone comes up to me and tells me they like my videos or learn something from it, and it's just incredible. I don't care for the numbers. Of course, it would be better to have more subscribers to get to talk to even crazier athletes and open more doors. But just knowing that someone enjoys my videos and getting a chance to meet you guys in person and even sometimes climbing is incredible. So thank you. The next one is right by the blue we did before. This was probably the weirdest progression I've ever had in this last year. I started and I literally could not do any single move. I don't know if I was tired or something, but they all felt horrible. I did not want to waste time on this one. Not because I was in a hurry, but because I know these are the most hated holds in the whole gym. The brand is called So Will. It's not that the holds are bad quality or anything. It's just that they have so many small features that if you hit the bump on the side or a little bit higher up, it changes the whole game. This might be a cheat, but I usually let other people climb and then just look up for beta on Instagram or something. So thanks to my friend Thiago, I just stole his beta completely, copied it, and in one day I got the boulder. The important thing on every single move was to remember, climb to learn. I thought I was not going to be able to do this one in the beginning, but I just wanted to learn every single move. Just knowing that these holds are really hard and there's a ton of secrets with hip positioning and body balance, I just wanted to watch the video, learn a new move, and do so and do so and do so until I had the whole thing. And I was pretty happy because I got it from bottom to top in just one day. Now, in between those attempts, I was trying something a little bit different because that one, I'm not gonna lie, even though I had the beta, it was pretty frustrating. So I give it a try on a yellow one on the competition wall. Keep in mind, the competition wall is usually harder than the rest of the floors or anywhere in the gym. So when I told Asahi I was giving this one a try, he told me that this one was probably so bad I could get a brown tape in just a few days. So I gave it a try and was completely shut down. But taking back the advice I just said, I just wanted to learn the move. I was focused literally on one move, getting this heel hook and getting the right hand afterwards. This last year, I improved a ton at heel hooks, and this was the perfect challenge. It was a really high up heel hook on a pinch sloper, so there wasn't many features to get my foot into anything. So I really had to pull with my heel, and also the hip balance and getting the right sloper next was pretty tricky timing. So I was really happy that after a ton of tries, I got it really consistently. And even though I could not move after it, I could do the move. So in my book, it's a win.
Oh.
Luckily, I was saved by a few friends. I was completely tired, I was in a bad headspace, and I was tired of climbing that white one. So me and my friends gave the new set a few tries and found this other green one, also from Seoul, but it was a little more my style. Very far away moves on big slopers. And I could do every single move almost from the beginning. I just had to tie it together. I was falling on the second left hand that had a pretty high up heel onto a sloper. But after adjusting my right foot and my heel a little bit, I managed to get it. The problem is that when I did that, my left hand's wrist was at a weird angle, and when I had to grab the under, just my feet would snap off, so I couldn't control the move. My other friend, he is much stronger than me. The crazy thing is that whenever I did it from the middle, I could do that move easy. So I started to analyze what was the difference between doing it from the bottom and what I was holding when I was starting it from the middle. So I realized that when I was starting from the middle, my wrist was really to the right, and that made me extend my arm much easier to get to the right hand, and that would not throw me so off the wall when I was doing the dynamic move. But when I was doing the heel hook, I was barely catching on in the beginning, so I realized my hand would hit it from the front instead of the side. And when I did that to the next move, it would just be like the blue one before, where my hips would go really far away from the wall and then they would come back, which would not let me stay on the wall. So after just a few tweaks, and I literally left the chalk mark just to remember myself to put the hand all the way to the side, I just bumped it, turned it to the right, and then I hit the top, and that was so much better. And after a few tries, I finally got it. And it was pretty funny because my friend Kate thought I wasn't filming, but it was a camera. Now we're back to the white crimps. This boulder, I mean, I'm already tired of watching it. It's so heartbreaking. I can do every single move separately, but I cannot tie the third to the fifth. It is just horrible. Getting the left foot just a few millimeters, a little bit to the right or to the left, feels like it changes everything. I have given this one so many tries, my fingers just hurt and they feel like they're gonna break. I keep on thinking to myself, just drop it. But at the same time, if you can do every single move and it's just about tying it together, it always feels like you can get it on the next try. I was running out of time. I had a 4 out of 5, so I was pretty happy. I just wanted to get one more. And out of all of the climbs in the gym, I had already gotten so far on this one, it felt that this was gonna be the one. Also, getting it on my anti-style would mean I was a super solid orange tape climber. But even though I could do every single move, I could not tie it together. I felt I was so heavy. My fingers hurt. I could not do the moves. I didn't want to disappoint you guys, but my fingers were already out of the picture. So I found this white one and I actually saw Kokoro Fuji giving it a few tries. I had given it one try on another day and it felt impossible, so I just gave up. That day he gave me some advice and I still thought, even with the advice, I couldn't do it. Now, I felt a little bit like a scam artist. I had literally just uploaded a video on slopers, but I could not do this sloper one. So I said, I have to do it. If I can do it and I can show it on video, then you guys will also want to watch my video on slopers and know it actually works. So I give it a try. But whenever you keep on falling on the first move so many times, it's pretty demoralizing. So what I did is I skipped the first few slopers, started from the middle, and went directly for the crux, which most people thought was the last move. I really like this approach because if you get stuck in the beginning, you feel that you can do 0%, but if you get it from the half, you already know you've gotten some progress on the boulder, and it's much more motivating to giving the first moves a few more tries. So with a really cool sequence, I managed to make it to the top, even though it took a few tries, and I was pretty pumped. I knew that if I could get one time to the middle, the boulder was over. I knew I had the moves, it was super repeatable. It's not that it wasn't hard, but I just understood it. But the first moves were pretty bad. I don't want to make this look like I'm complaining, but this boulder seems much easier for someone shorter. I'll give my reasoning. If your hips are lower, any sloper is easier. So I had to think, how can I make myself shorter? So drop your hips a lot more, bend your knees, and even though the balance is harder, that would help out a little bit. I was still having a very hard time on the third move, even though I had made a few improvements. But that's when my friend Azami gave me a few tips on how to set the toe hook. He actually told me to place the tip of my foot, not really far in, just the tip. And that didn't work. But I realized it was because my foot was too close. So by turning my foot around and placing the side of the tip of my foot, that would work. It was the perfect combination. And the first time I got through the third move. So with that, I was set for the top.
That's all. Hey!
I got 5 out of 5. There was only 3 days left for the end of the month, and it was my birthday. So it was the perfect send. That same day, I was so hyped, I just went to the 3rd floor and thought I would have maybe got one more just for you guys. I saw this green boomerang one, and it's very weird. The first half is everything I hate, and the second half is everything I love. So super small crimps, and then pretty nice big slippery holes. But the problem was tying everything together. I gave it so many tries on the first day and I couldn't do it. And even though I knew I should be happy because I hit my objective of 5 out of 5 in 1 month, I felt a little bit sad. But a week after, I gave it a few more tries and I finally got it. This month was super fun, and I'm really glad to be back at the advanced level. Next month, I'm gonna try to hit my high point again, 1D. Subscribe so you don't miss it.